Hi everybody, welcome to my channel for a new battle report. I have a new training practice game that I can show you. I had the pleasure to play games against a monastery dude from Team Poland. It was really nice that he took contact with me. Thanks again to take contact with me to play a game. Don't hesitate if other people have interest. I'm always looking for opponents, so I was really eager to try to play against him. He's a very good Sylvan Elf player, so was definitely looking forward to this test to see how it goes. My list, I made a couple of tweaks after my tournament. The tournament that I played in January basically brought back the Merc Vets with the shooty BSB. I make a bit lighter magical setup with less point invested. I wanted to add some additional threats in the form of 2 slave giants, and I kept the 3 Tusker Cav and brought back the Frost Mammoth instead of the old giant. So basically that's more or less the idea of the list. My opponent was playing the following list. It's a mixed arm, we could say Sylvan Elf. He has a lot of tools in the list, a lot of different units. As you can see, he has a Tree Father Ancient that is also mage and can be a very good block in the game. Then he has Master Cosmo. I think that's not the final list that he had. Basically, this druid is on an eagle with the bolt thrower bow. This one had the poison shot, I guess. This one is BSB as a Blade Dancer BSB with some MR and magical stuff. He had 11 Earth Rider, 5 Earth Riders, so the first one scoring that can charge and do some damage. The other one's more like a chaff. 15 Archer with Discipline Banner, 15 Forest Guard, a small and cheap scoring unit. Then he had a bigger block of Forest Ranger with Vanguard, 12 Blade Dancers with the BSB obviously, 3 Kestrels, 5 Briar Maiden with the Champion, so another couple of spells. So as you can see, has 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 spells, so a lot of spell at his disposal, which makes it very strong magical setup, and 2 small units of Pathfinder. We randomly played King of the Hill and Cycle. You have both player spell selection, so as you can see, has very good setup with good range damage and good combat buff. I picked mainly range damage, obviously with Pyro being quite strong, so I picked 2 Fireballs, a Pyro Flow, Swarm of Insect, and then only 3 buffs plus Chilling. I think here, small mistake in the spell selection. I could have probably taken something else, 1 more buff instead of 1 of the Blast. Maybe number 2 of Pyro or something like that. I felt I missed something then in close combat. Matchup analysis. So he has a mobile list with a lot of threat on the table. I need to reduce the part of the map where he could play, so I want to limit his movement advantage, which is something that I do usually against this type of list. His shooting will probably target my Merc, so I will try to use Train and Magic to protect this Merc unit from his range damage. Not easy for him to engage, meaning he should... I was speaking mainly about Merc Vets under Frost, which is not so easy to attack. And also the Death Star is kind of hard because I have a lot of bodies, a lot of wounds in the unit. So I should have some board control. And I will try, speaking about secondary, I will try to get them as close as possible to have like a clear pass for my Death Star to push, basically, at some point in the game. So I know that he's playing well Sylvan Elf, meaning aggressive Sylvan Elf, and he's trying to take some initiative, so it's going to be a thrilling game. But definitely I think it would be to my advantage to play on a reduced part of the map and try to play with my strengths to get some advantage on secondary. Open game, I think depends a lot who can start. It's huge. I would be really happy to start the game. Probably would like the same. So I think it would be kind of the first dice is already very important to see who can start. And he won the roll for side, meaning I will be able to start. He picked the top part, gave me the impossible in my zone, and picked the lake as his piece of terrain to defend. I decided to pick the wall and deploy everything to start the game, so I put all my forces on this part of the map. In this configuration, I didn't like too much the impossible because this gave me the opportunity to protect a bit my flank for what he might do and reduce where he could attack me. So I felt it wasn't too bad. And basically I could play strongs facing the 2 secondary objectives. So I decided to go with Tusk on the left, 2 Chaff Piece behind the hill, my Death Star that can go on the hill turn 1, Merc Vets with the BSB defending the wall, a 2nd Tribesman unit, my Frost Mammoth, and then on the weak flank the 2 Giant. His counter deployment, he put Fast Cav, Kestrel, Pathfinder, 3-man, Blade Dancer with BSB, Forest Guard. Then he has his scoring cavalry hunting guy, Then the rangers, his archer with the level 4 mage, so master mage, shamanist guy on eagle within the Briar Maiden. And he already made a mistake. I read a bit too fast his list. I forgot that he could Vanguard with the rangers. I think I could have threatened a bit the flank in case he wants to Vanguard forward. Could have been easily done by another placement of this giant and maybe angle the two giants just to tell him, if you Vanguard too quick, I could potentially charge you in the flank or something like that. So I felt here already a first mistake. He's obviously going to take advantage from that and Vanguard his guy within the field to get soft cover and not be chargeable by anything else than a long charge from the Frosty, which is definitely fine. If Vanguard is Kestrel that way to be aggressive, Pathfinder remain here and he moves slightly his fast cav. And it's going to be my turn 1. I'm not moving much, so I took the wall, defend the wall with my Mervets. I decided to hide my Frosty, thinking it's going to matter a lot when he's going to push with his rangers. I want to have the agility bonus potentially, so I want to protect him from not suffering any wounds from range damage from him, so I'm trying to hiding him in the first round. Took the Death Star with the 2 mages here left on the hill to get in range to get some pyro working. I blocked all his spots to where I could land with his Kestrels, so basically as I block all the position and start a flanking maneuver with the Tuskers, but I cannot march too much forward. He would be able to exit my line of sight, which I don't want. And the giant, I tried to correct my mistake from turn 1 from deployment by basically threatening the flank and the back. I'm outside of line of sight. If he march forward, I will be able to threaten flank or back, which is nice. And with this one, I'm trying to create a pressure on the bunker as well. Getting a middle long charge. Even if he moves back, I'm going to get the charge, so he needs to do something about the giant. In the magic phase, I get a pyroclastic flow on the first Pathfinder unit. He let that go because I got her eye roll. I kill all of them. And with the blaze, I did 1 wound on the Kestrel unit, which is really nice. Then I got another fireball off on this Pathfinder unit. I killed 3. I think he dispelled Swarm of Insect before that. I killed 3 Pathfinder and didn't do anything with the blaze. And then my shooting, I decided to finish the remaining Pathfinder, so I shot at them and I managed to kill the 2 remaining one thanks to the BSB eating always on 4-up. So basically I just killed the Pathfinder, so I dealt with all Pathfinder turn 1, which is great news for me obviously. He's turn 1, so he's coming at me using the chaff to chaff my 2 units, which makes sense. Then he moves a bit forward with Blade Dancer plus the 3, cover the angle with his scoring unit here, pushes a bit the cavalry, moves the Kestrel into better position, move forward with the ranger, giving me a front, and here he uses his Briar Maiden to chaff me in the front, put the eagle in the back, so basically he's going to shoot at, make sure that he kills this one with all his shooting attack. Here I already see potentially some opportunities. I felt it depends a lot what he do with range damage. Maybe he kill me and then that's the end. But potentially his BSB is here. I could create some turret check and maybe get here. I mean, if something happened to this unit, a terror check failed, it could be a free pass to get some good points with this giant. So this one hasn't any good option. I think he plays him in a good way. I have no good charges on this 3 unit, but I could get to this Briar Maiden. They could easily flee, obviously, but if they do, this one could be free. So it's really depending on a lot what happened on this first giant. We will see. In the magic phase, he got 2d6 strength 4, so Master of Earth on this giant. 2d6 strength 4 did 6 wounds to this giant, so he's already dead more or less. Then Ice and Fire on this one, he used 2 dice, I used 4 dice, I failed to dispel, and he did 4 wounds to this giant. So 2 blast strength 4, and basically he did 10 wounds to my giant. So it's harsh for me to take. Shooting attack, yeah, he killed this giant, did another wound to this one. So basically I lost 12 wounds of giant, I have only 1 left on 2 wounds. I know it wasn't a good matchup for the giant, but on turn 1, that's a lot of wounds that I suffered already. And he did also some wounds to my bruisers, I guess. My turn 2, I decided to charge a chaff. He positioned this chaff in a very good way. I should have fit this unit in between somehow to try to get... I like to get tribesman unit to be able to get in position for counter charge or do something. Here I was a bit stuck between my units, and the only 2 units that could charge were these 2 units, which was well done from him. So either I need to sacrifice 1 turn of shooting or 1 turn of magic. I decided I'm going to sacrifice shooting because magic is too good in this matchup. So I charge with the Merc Vets, push with the Death Star, push a bit more with the Tuskers, chaff the Blade Dancer, chaff the Rangers, move out with the Frosty, and the Giant go hiding in a way that even if he march forward, it's going to get hard cover to kill this guy. So I'm trying to survive a bit more and still be annoying in the game. And I turn around this one to maybe be chaff later in the game. In the Magic phase, 2d6 strength 4. So I'm trying now to reduce the Rangers. I felt that these are the main threat for the secondary. So let's try to reduce their number. So I get 2d6 strength 4, kill 5 Rangers. Did 1 wound to the Kestrels, I guess. Yeah, I think he has only 2 models left now. And then he dispelled the rest, and I got Hereditary on my Merc Vest just in case he wants to multi-charge them, get some additional resistance. His turn 2, he moves forward, so he charged my chaff with the Kestrel here, and here with the Lancer guy, Spear guy. He uses his 3-man in a good way to chaff my Merc Vets. I didn't anticipate very well. As you can see, he's out of line of sight of the Bruiser. That could have easily be angled a bit better to cover that position. So I was a bit disappointed about what I do here. It was too easy for him to escape line of sight and get into a good position. I just saw he might fear a charge of the Merc Vets with all this poison attack. But yeah, I think there is a good likelihood that even if I charge, I get stuck because he's stubborn. And then if he counter-charge me, I could easily break. So I think it's a great opening for him. Low risk, and for me, there is a high risk that I lose the unit if I do that. Other than that, yeah, just move around with those guys, put back the mage in the unit. In the Magic phase, I think here was also positive news for me. Was a bit stuck between the Kestrel charging and the Rangers being that position. He could have potentially just charged with the Rangers to clean them, reform and position the Kestrels in somewhere else, potentially. I don't know. So he decided to do that. In the Magic phase, got 1 dice plus 1 to hit on them. Fate Judgment did 2 wounds to my Frosty. With shooting, he did 5 wounds to my Merc Vets. And then close combat, he make the dog break. I manage escape on Swift Ride, and with non-Swift Ride, he just pursue a couple of inches forward. And then I manage here to do, he did 4 wounds to me, I did 2 wounds back, which is statistically normal. And then I managed to pass my break test on -3 rollable, which was not expected and is a big boost for me because now instead of fleeing, I'm able to stick and maybe even win because he has only 1 model left and I have 2 model left and he's not charging anymore, so he has only 3 attack next round and I have 8 attack back, so I could easily kill him. So yeah, I felt here I was a bit lucky, which yeah, is definitely good for me. My turn 3, I managed to rally those guys. I took the charge with the Tuskers in the flank of this scoring unit. Here we're stuck in combat. I rally those guys non-rollable, reform that way to be able to move back 1 inch. Reposition some other units, especially the Death Star, covering a bit more my angles. Didn't want to take this charge. I felt he's stubborn. He has an easy counter charge. Potentially depends a lot also what happens here. If I stick or not, but potentially it could be annoying for me, so I felt let's wait a bit more, get better angle and just wait a bit more. I felt it was still too I don't want to engage them in the forest. I felt it's what they want, it's not what I want, and it could be dangerous for me, so I felt let's wait a bit more. In the Magic phase, I decided to move out with the Giant. Basically the thought process was, if I stay here, he can move here to the flank, kill me, looking in the right position, so looking the right way, looking at my army. But then he's in a good position and he deal with the Giant. I felt by moving here, I felt if the Giant moves here, basically he has to look in the wrong way, so to say, to kill me. And then that's something not looking at the rest. I felt it's the most interesting move for me. Still annoying, and if he doesn't kill me, I could get maybe a charge or something. So that's it. In the Magic phase, I got 2d6 strike 4 on the Rangers. I continued my damage, did 4 wounds, used the Blaze on the Cavalry guy, tried to reduce his rank in case he charged me. Got Hereditary on the Merc Vets, really wanted to protect them. Shooting, I did nothing. And then I got another Fireball off, I think. I killed 2 Rangers and another Cavalry guy. I think that was it. So nice magic phase. Close combat. I broke those guys, only 2 or 3 left. Obviously I restrain and reform out of arc of the cavalry. It tempted me to overrun here in the flank, but I felt it's not a good idea. He's stubborn, 3 upward save, can countercharge me with the cavalry, so that just died Tuskers, so dead Tuskers. So I just restrained too wide to be out of arc of everybody, basically looking at the center, and I'm close to the secondary. I felt I was in a good spot. And here, yeah, what happened, meaning he didn't do much to me, and I kill him in return and reform in a way to chaff him. So this is not bad at all. Yeah, his next turn, he charges with the ranger in my flank, and here, as you can see, the Mugvets are all the way down. So what happened charge-wise? He charged first with the 3 against this guy. So yeah, shooting, I did nothing on the 3. I put all the poison short range plus the 2 hunting spear, and I did nothing. And this turn, so he charged the Frosty, that old. He then charged Blade Dancer on my Mercvets, stand and shoot, kill 3. Took the cavalry to charge the Mercvets as well, so it's 8. I hold, and then decided to charge with the Eagle in my flank, I guess, on 8 as well. And I felt here it was just too risky, that if he gets at least 2 of them, I might be in big trouble. So I felt that just flee that one, let him fail charge, and get a good charge from the Death Star, which is what I did. It's going to be a bit risky. I need to rally, but I didn't feel confident with him striking before me with all these attacks against my Mercvets. And he rolled well, so I think that was the right decision to flee. Fail charge here, redirect onto this unit here, redirect the cavalry on the 8 on my Frost Mammoth, got that, so it's going to hurt, obviously, and the rest didn't rally. Those guys continue to flee and turn around with Briar Maiden to kill my giant. In magic phase, I use Binding Scroll and Break the Spirit, so basically I felt the Death Star is going to get a good charge. I can choose my target, but that's an ideal position, and if E5 dies, Break the Spirit, worst case he loses the spell, but then he gets a key spell off, and best case, if he gets the spell, I cannot charge, because that's DT, it's the end of the world. So I felt that was the right time to use the Binding Scroll on such a powerful spell at this point of time, so I Binding Scroll it. Ice and Fire did 2 wounds to my Tusker. He got +1 aim on 1 dice. He got +1 strength on the Dancers as well. Shooting, he killed my giant, which was always going to happen. And close combat, he exactly one-shot the Frosty that managed to strike at the same time as the cavalry, but did nothing in return. Killed those guys and reform, and that's it. My turn 4, yeah, I took the charge, so the Death Star charge into those guys. I failed charge with the Tusker. I took some strange charge that I checked a bit too quickly against those guys, and I told him I charged the Death Star into them, and then the Tusker, and basically the Tusker couldn't fit anymore due to some millimeter. I couldn't get into proper position to the cavalry, so it failed charge. What I should have done is first of all check better, and I could have just moved 8 forward in the forest to threaten those guys. Maybe I felt that was maybe a more decent possibility. Thinking, no, nothing here, I cannot fit. No, nothing else, so I could have just moved 8 forward, that's it. But doesn't matter so much, to be honest with you. Yeah, I lose a bit the momentum, but it's not that big of mistake. Here I'm able to chaff again with the dogs. Tigers be in front of them, which is chaffing at the same time the 3-man that cannot charge out. I felt it was going to be really interesting. Those guys rallied, the most important role of the game for me, obviously 8 non-rerollable. If I don't rally, it could be a lot of point lost. I could have another chance to rally maybe. I wasn't too close from the board, but still really important that I rally. Obviously, it's huge in the game. In the magic phase, I got Rod of Battle Hereditary on my bruisers. He dispelled the rest. Close combat, he used Aegis. I challenge with the Shamanism guy in the front, I felt. He did 1 wound to my mage, strike some bruises, and then I kill everybody except the BSB, I guess. Auto break, pursue into the rangers. He passes probably a panic check here on 9 or 8, I guess, and that's it. And I overrun into them. He's turn 4, so that's not the end for him. He has still plenty of things to do. So he charged my chaff, put the 3 men in my flank to block me, and the eagle in the other flank, and the cavalry in the front. And he continued to flee with those guys. And basically he found a very smart position with those archers. Basically they are not chargeable from the Death Star, no matter what happened. because if I charge them, they can flee. Then if I want to redirect, I cannot contact with flank, so I would need to charge them first, the way it's placed. I found this is really interesting, the way he managed to block me. In his magic phase, what happens? He failed this time on 1 dice plus 1 aim, got 2d6 strength 4, did 1 wound to my Tusker, did another 2 wounds with shooting. I passed my check on 8 rollable for them, for the panic check, and maybe did some more wounds, I think with the bolt thrower. I think I'm alive on only one guy. He did some good wounds here. Close combat, yeah. He killed one model, did some wounds to my shaman, but still alive. I kill more or less everybody. Yeah, everybody. I kill everybody. And just can turn around and choose what I want. The choice that I make is to charge the Tree Father, because I felt this is secondary, this is scoring unit. If I get through, this is points, and so on. We will see if it was the right choice or not. So I took this charge, move forward with the Merc Vets to get short range onto those guys. I need to get rid of them. Move away. As you can see, it did huge damage to my Tusker with the shooting, so I just moved out of the way, kept those guys behind the hill, that be able to march, get into secondary objective, and that's it. Magic phase. I got only hereditary here, dispel my offensive buffs. Close combat shooting, I kill 5 cav, only 3 left. He passes panic check. And close combat, I did only 1 wound. I decided to decline the challenge. I did only 1 wound, which is not a big scandal. As you can see, it's a bit low, but not crazy low. I expected to do more. I didn't do the math. I felt this should be easy with so many strength 6 attack, but it wasn't easy at all. And he didn't do much. I think he tried to crush attack my mage, but didn't manage to do it. And as you can see here, that what would have been the stat without impact from the Great Khan against the Tree Father. So I think it's slightly better with the Great Khan. Why? Because he's only crushing me on 5 up, 4 up, because of my defensive, Ligger, and the Mammothite Cloak. So low likelihood that he does anything to my Great Khan. I should do, as you can see, on average 2 wounds per round, not taking into account impact hit. And if I take the challenge, the key thing is I protect my mage. So I think I should have definitely taken this challenge, which was a mistake for me. I didn't do the math, and I just felt in my head more strength 6 attack should be better, but it wasn't the case at all. Yep, that's it. He passes his steadfast check on a 9. He's on 5, move back with the cavalry. Here we stuck. Move into good position to shoot me with different stuff. Magic phase, he got +1 aim on the archer, -1 strength on my bruisers, got dispel. He got a blast on my Mercvet, but failed due to a ram. Shooting, did 6 wound to my Mercvet that passed the 8 rollable check. Close combat, I did another wound, so I again declined the challenge, did 1 wound. He passes the steadfast check on the 9. So we're still here, my turn 6. Yeah, I kept the BSB here to get reroll everybody, get those guys forward to shoot short range those guys. It's easy. I need to get rid of 3 cavalry with 10 shots. So we will see if I can do that. Hitting on 4 up, poison, AP2. We will see. Move those guys within the train, move the Tusker as well. More than 6 between them both. So basically telling him, if you don't get rid of both, I'm going to score it. And he was stuck. Close, magic, what did I get? Nothing crazy, maybe again hereditary. I decline shooting, I killed the cavalry, which was a relief. And then close combat, I did 2 wounds this time. He's still alive and passes another steadfast check. And this is his turn 6. Took the charge with the Briar Maiden. Position his his mage here to shoot at here, and turn those guys around to shoot the Mercvats. He felt he shouldn't do much due to the forest and wounding on 6 up and me having 3 up armor save. He could have maybe tried it. I think this is worth more than half the point. I don't know. What happened? Magic phase. He tripled 6 ice and fire, but did 0 wound to himself and did 3 wounds to the Mercvats. Passes the panic check on 9 rollable. Boltor failed to hit, I guess, on 3 up. Wounding on 4 up. He failed to hit, so this is alive. And shooting did another 3 wounds. I pass another panic check, get half point of the Mercvats. Close combat, he did some wounds here. I had a hard check to take. I failed. I think I did 0. And he did something like 2-3 wounds to me, I guess. So I was losing by a bunch. I didn't pass a 3 or 4 rollable. I fled. He didn't manage to catch me. So at least I have half point saved. And here I did 0 wounds. And as you can see, last round, he killed my mage. So basically, I lost points and I took 0 points. Annoying. Ended up being a 15-5. Yeah, crazy game, thrilling game, very interesting. I lost a good amount of points. He lost some points too. Was really close till the end, and I managed to win secondary, but was really, really close, and all decided at the end. Post-game analysis, I think starting was huge. My opponent pointed me that potentially I should have switched the Bruiser and the Mercs. I tend to agree with him. Bruisers would have defended the wall a bit better, and the Merc only use as a cover 1 round. So I think I could have indeed potentially changed that. Secondary was a close affair, we could say, till the end. I didn't manage to break the 3 defense or the charge better. I think here I made a couple of mistakes this round. What I should have done first of all is charge with the Great Khan alone in the Briar Maiden. If he flee, I can potentially redirect. I think the flank could have been possible into the bunker. So yes, probably he needs to stay, I assume. If it's not possible, I can just try to catch Briar Maiden. And then I can turn around the Bruiser, look at the 3, and I can get all my spell onto the cavalry to make sure I get rid of them. And then I'm making sure that I get rid of them as soon as possible. There is a good chance that I get rid of them in 1 round between magic and shooting, because I left 3 with my shooting, meaning with only magic I could potentially kill 3. And then I have 2 units, which is Bruisers plus Mugvets against the 3 Fathers. So I think that would have been probably a better solution for me. And the Great Khan just goes alone into other stuff. Because I did enough as a Death Star. I think now was the time to try to collect more points. So yeah, my opponent did well to give me a couple of choice to make. And as always, if you have plenty of choice to your opponent, is likely to make mistake at some point or make suboptimal choices. I think it's a better word for that. And in the case I took the charge that I took, I should have taken the challenge with the Great Khan, which is statistically slightly better, and anyway save the Shamans, which is saving points as well. Magic, yeah, as expected, Pyro is strong in the matchup, but I had too many bounce spell. I didn't cast 1 time Fireball bounce spell. I didn't cast 1 time Chilling Hole, which is good in the matchup. So I felt I should have taken, instead of the normal Pyro, instead of the normal Fireball, I should have taken another buff. I felt I didn't have enough combat buff, so I could have, yeah, picked some other stuff, but I wasn't totally happy with the magical setup. Heavy Chaff was really useful. I mean, he had some luck at some point. Maybe with, yeah, I think the magic turn 1 was huge. 10 wounds on the giant, a bit more than expected. But then I had some good luck in return when I managed to hold with the Tribesmen against the Kestrel. I think that was huge. He could have potentially get rid of the Tribesmen with the Rangers. Then he's 100% sure that he gets rid of them. I think that would have been probably the right call. Dogs chaffing 2 times was really nice as well. And yeah, my opponent played really, really well. He told me that he could have redirected the charge better. Maybe with his Blade Dancer, he could have gone into my Death Star. Obviously, at some point, he would have died, but he would have blocked me sometimes. Maybe it was the right call. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if it was the right call or not. But yeah, definitely, I think he made some right move. He put me in trouble. I was lucky to rally the Mercvets. Yeah, he made some small gamble that put me under pressure. I had to take risk as well. And at the end, I came up on top, but it was really close affair. I could have lost as well. So yeah, well done. And thanks a lot for the game. Again, if you're watching the battle report, thanks a lot for the game. It was really a pleasure to face you. Was what I enjoy a lot. A lot of action, as you see. Tactical game, interesting game, and fast pace. I mean, we managed that in 3 hours. That was done. So such a pleasure to train against this type of player. It's really, really great. It's yeah, it was a great training. Guys, thanks a lot for watching this battle report. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was a really interesting battle report. This type of game is really interesting to analyze after the game because, yeah, so many things happened. It was an interesting game, tense until the end. So I think that's the kind of battle report that I enjoy the most making, and I think you most likely enjoy a lot watching as well. It's unfortunate it's not on the real table, which is not with real miniatures, so I understand it's less pleasure to watch than a normal game, but still the game was amazing. Guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I talk to you soon on the channel with another practice game. Bye.